So here we go with the total cost that you incur for studying abroad. Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I'm Rupal, I'm a chartered accountant and a graduate from Shriram College of Commerce. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. If you don't know yet, I have recently moved to Amsterdam for studying LLM in international taxation from the University of Amsterdam and IBFT. So I'm going to share a lot of stories regarding LLM and Amsterdam. And so in today's video, we're going to talk about the cost of studying abroad. It is not only the tuition fees, there is a lot of other costs which are associated with it. I'm going to break each and every line item of the costs that I have incurred so far for moving here and the cost that I expect to incur in future. So let's get into it. First and foremost, yes, tuition fees. The tuition fees is going to be the larger chunk of the total cost that you incur. For me, LLM is a 1-year course and it's a residential program, so it's not long distance. The cost of the tuition fees here is 21,000 euros. So shelling of the money started with the application fees. For me, it was 100 euros. That is the application fees that you have to pay at the time when you're applying for the course, and I paid it in January. The next thing you have to pay to the university is the housing application. So this you have to pay only if you're applying housing through the university. So the way it works in Netherlands is that there are housing accommodations which are not in the university campus. They are in the outskirts or nearby areas, and there are different housing accommodations which has students of the university from different courses, not the same course necessarily. So I'm in one of the student housing accommodations. It is generally advisable that if you're coming here for the first time, then you take a housing accommodation with the help of university, and in the second and the third year, if you're here for long term, then you can obviously look for private accommodation. But in the first year, you're generally not so well versed with the surroundings, with people, so somebody might try to dupe you, and this is what I heard, and that is why I took the housing accommodation through the university. So the cost of the housing application fees here, in my time, it is euro 395. The fourth thing is the visa application. So the way the visa process works is that you have to pay the visa application fees to the university. The university will apply to the visa, so you don't have to actually go and apply to the visa yourself. At the back end, the university will do all the work, apply your visa, do everything, all the paperwork, etc. You just have to apply to the visa through the portal, and there would be specific instructions given to you. There is a separate video about applying the visa and the entire process which I went through, so do check out that. So in the visa application fees, you have to pay 210 euros. You don't have to pay again any fees when you later on go to the embassy. But like I went to the Netherlands embassy in India at New Delhi, I did not have to pay anything there. I simply had to go, give my documents, get the stamp, submit my passport, and then come back. The next important cost that you would incur is your insurance, because it is highly advisable that before you travel you have your insurance, because medical here is very, very expensive. So you get a student insurance, and it has obviously different ranges, and the university also gives you an option that you can purchase the student insurance from so and so websites. It's very simple process. The student insurance cost maybe somewhere around 700 to 1000 euros. It will, let me tell you, only cover the basic insurance. It's not a very full-fledged insurance covering each and everything, so there are very caveats to it. For example, your dental is not covered in the insurance. It's only for emergency. If you're really in trouble and you have to go and visit a doctor, it will be really cheap. Otherwise it might cost you like hundreds and thousands of euros. So advisable that you get a student insurance. So that's the next big cost, somewhere around 700 to 1000 euros that you'll incur. thing that you have to do is flight cost. Now, depending upon a lot of factors, whether you're booking your flight early or late, or how many seats are available, whether all the flights are operational or not, because in COVID times, in my time for example, Air India was not operational, so I had no choice but to take KLM if I had to take a direct flight. Also, if you're taking a transition flight, like a stopover from India to Dubai and then to Amsterdam, maybe you would get a cheaper flight. Then depending upon how much baggage you might want to carry, the entire flight cost may actually really vary. Also, like I was coming to Amsterdam, so I had a direct flight. If you're coming to any other part of Netherlands, maybe the flight there is not direct, so you would have to shell out extra money. My experience was that because my visa came really late in like the last week of July, and then I had to book my flight like in the first week of August and travel on 23rd August. Because of this entire delay, my flight cost was actually 1000 euros, a little more than that. But for you it might be really less, like 200 or 300 euros. So my advice here is only that for your visa, try to apply it as soon as possible. As soon as the visa portal will open, do apply it, get your visa as early as possible, so that you can book your flight as early as possible and save a lot of money. The next cost that you would incur is, because you're coming for studying abroad, maybe for 1 year or more, you would want to carry some amount in foreign exchange, travel cards or some cash. So all of this would actually also has certain amount of foreign exchange cost, and hence that's also one cost that you would have to incur. Rentals and the student accommodation is actually a separate portal where you have to go, and there's a landlord which is a tie-up with the university, so your entire money actually goes to the landlord. But depending upon how much you would want to choose in terms of facilities, so again I've made another video for housing. In nutshell, how much facilities do you want? Especially in times of COVID, you might not want to share your room with someone, or you might not want to share the facilities with someone. So facilities means your washroom, your kitchen. Your housing cost or your rental cost may be somewhere between 400 to 800 euros if you are in student accommodation. Some of the student accommodations also have a government allowance, so please do also check your rental contracts for that if you're eligible for it or not. And in this 400 to 800 euros, obviously there are other facilities of internet and electricity and lighting, and the furniture is included, so you don't have to purchase everything. You might still have to purchase certain things, but we're going to talk about it in detail in the housing video, so watch out for that. Because this is a student accommodation, they would also take certain amount of security deposit, which is approximately like 2 months of your rental. For where I am staying, the security deposit is 1500 euros. Now there are two options, whether number one, you can give you 1500 euros in cash, and then later when you're leaving the apartment, they might give it back to you, depending upon if they have to do certain deductions and things like that. The second idea to do this is, instead of shelling out your money or cash, you can actually use a security deposit agency which is called Savion. Now Savion, what they do is they would actually block that amount in your credit card, and they would charge you some amount every month for giving you this facility of not shelling out the entire security deposit amount. So you can either give the entire security deposit and then get it back at the end of the entire period, or you can use Savion. Because I used Savion, so I had to shell out that much amount of money. Another thing, because the student accommodation is not in the university, it is in the outskirts, which means that you would have to actually commute daily. Now for commuting daily, there could be, you can take trams or metros, the public transports. For me, luckily, very near or right next to my student accommodation. There is a tram and then there is a metro, so I can travel from there. And generally the student pass can be somewhere between 80 to 100 euros for the entire month. It's a little expensive, but yes, that is something that you can do. The second thing which Netherlands is very very famous for is cycling. You can actually take a cycle which can cost you somewhere around 100 or 150 or 250 euros actually, and yeah, you're good to go. But all you have to do is ensure that your cycle has proper locks, because Netherlands and especially Amsterdam is very famous for your cycles being stolen. So get a very good lock and get a cycle. That's a very cheap way of commuting if you know how to bicycle. So yeah, you can go for it. Next thing that you would have to incur your cost on is medicines. Now you would say, what? Yeah, medicines you can get anywhere, but no, in here the medicines are really really expensive, and you can't actually get a lot of medicines on over the counter the way we used to get in India or whichever country you're coming from. So I actually had to take a lot of medicines for the entire year, and the medicines are not only the general medicines of fever or for cough or for eye drops or for, you know, for your stomach aches and ointment burns and things like that. Something that you'll also have to take along with it is your multivitamins, your fish oils if you're not a non-vegetarian, or for that matter your vitamin D. Now Netherlands is also famous that 70% of the time it rains here, and currently it's sunny for the last 2 days, but generally it's not that sunny. So you'd have to take vitamin D right from the start, and certain other medicines that you'd have to take. For me, the medicines costed me around 15 to 20,000 Indian rupees, like 200 to 250 euros, and it can actually vary for you. So yeah, just do watch out how much medicines that you have to carry, but please and please do carry a lot of medicines. If you think, you know, you would need X amount of medicines, as per your estimation, do carry 2x, because you would never know. It's very very difficult to get medicines here over the counter especially. The next thing is your groceries, or you're going out. Now all of this is actually dependent on you, how much you're eating out, how much you're, you know, eating in or cooking for yourself. So I'm not going to give you a cost for that. The last thing, all the medical checkups. I would highly advise all of you to go and get your medical checkups done before you travel overseas, whether Netherlands or to any other country, because in India medical checkups are still comparatively cheaper as compared to any other country. So I had to actually get surgery done, then I had to do a lot of other checkups. Because of that I had to incur a lot of money. I would also advise that if you have any sort of medical conditions, at least go and get your general checkups done from your family doctors or any other doctor, because you would not want to take that risk. So guys, all in all, I've given you the entire bunch of the different types of costs that you incur. Please put down in the comment section below, write it to me on Instagram, what kind of questions do you have. If you have any doubt on any topic or any other point here, then please do let me know. I'll be happy to answer your questions. Also, let me also tell you that the cost that I have given you is a lot dependent on Amsterdam. Amsterdam is one of the most expensive cities of the world, and also that other parts of Netherlands are maybe comparatively cheaper. If you're coming to any other parts of Netherlands, so it might be a different case for you. But yes, this was my experience, and this is the tentative cost that I have incurred. I hope this video really helped you. If it did, please do give it a thumbs up, and also share it with your friends and family who might want to have this information. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because it's free and it will really help me to reach out to maximum number of people who I can help through my videos. So again, thank you so much for joining. I'll see you again very soon with another interesting video. Till then, keep visualizing your goals and dream big, and I'll see you soon. Bye.